Well, hey folks, Real Aussie Witch and Riddlin. Here's 10 WWE talents who deserve a push in 2019. And this is the men's side. I've already done a countdown for the women's side. 2 countdowns for the women's side, actually. So I hope you guys have enjoyed those. And yes, you're going to see a lot of countdowns popping up throughout the rest of November into December. And pretty much finishing up right around the end of the year because... hey, there's been a lot to cover in WWE, NXT, even though Derb's going to mainly take over for that. And I'm also going to have some New Japan stuff, mainly favorite matches, favorite stars, and maybe a couple, my 5 favorite shows that New Japan has had. But anyway, that's for another day. So these are talents that I feel deserve a push. Now, some of these are maybe just me blue skying it, maybe just hoping. And yes, obviously there are some that I'm going to leave off, but... these are ones that I feel deserve a serious push. So, I'm just going to get right into it. Number 10, Drew Gulak. I think Drew Gulak can make a fine U.S. champion or fine Intercontinental champion. Hopefully he tastes Cruiserweight Gold at some point, because, for the whole Better 205 Live thing. But I really think for Intercontinental or U.S. champion, he is perfect for it. He is really good in the ring, really smooth, great submission style, and he is really good on the mic. So I could see him being a main roster, staple, at least in the mid-card. I don't think he'll ever be WWE or Universal champion. He doesn't have to be. But I could see him being a champion, a mid-card champion, and having some really good feuds. Because he's capable of getting under people's skin, and that really seems to be his wheelhouse. So hopefully he gets that opportunity. But regardless, I hope that he tastes gold, even if it's on 205 Live sometime next year. And then the Revival. I don't think the Revival are going to get pushed. I don't think they would get pushed if they went back to NXT. I don't think they'd get pushed if they went to SmackDown. I do not believe at all that WWE has any goddamn faith in them. And it's sad because they were one of the most over things in NXT, one of the best tag teams that they've ever had. And... brought to the main roster, yes, you had the injuries. You had the jaw and then the bicep injury. And so injuries have played a factor in on it. But for 2018, there was no goddamn excuse for how they've been used or how they have not been used at all. They should have been champions at least once. It's abysmal that they weren't. I kind of hope that they go to New Japan, honestly. I'm sure they're making good money in WWE, but it's just they do not deserve to be jobbed out repeatedly and repeatedly and repeatedly. But they deserve a push. I don't know if they're going to get it, but I hope they do. Number 8, Bobby Lashley, with the little asterisk that only if he gets rid of Lio Rush. I'm talking just destroys him and just goes on a freaking heel tear. Because this current group or this current duo is not working. All it's making me wish is that Lashley was off TV, and I love watching Bobby Lashley in the ring because he's goddamn good. Bobby Lashley should be competing for the Intercontinental title, or even if they switch him to SmackDown for the U.S. title, or even compete for the WWE title. He is legit enough in the ring to do that, but only if he gets rid of Lio Rush. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it, and that's all I got to say about that. Number 7, Mustafa Ali. Now, I am recording this before Survivor Series. I do want to say that right there, so yeah, I'm dating right here depending on when it goes up. But... Mustafa Ali, so if Mustafa Ali wins the Cruiserweight title at Survivor Series, great, okay, cool. Then, he's going to get that push into 2019, hopefully. But I really think that if he doesn't win it there, then he should win it at Mania. Mustafa Ali is a fantastic athlete, world-class, great ambassador for the company he could be. He really, really could be. He's a nice guy. He is, well-spoken. Great for bringing cultures together. Honestly, this guy is really, really cool. If you see how he interacts with the fans and the way he does shout-outs for the fans, he just seems like a genuinely good guy, great family man. Him, his wife, and his child, I believe they only have one child. It's like, the posts he makes on social media, he seems like a genuinely good guy. And he's also a really goddamn dynamite performer in the ring. The guy is somebody they could build around. He's somebody kind of like Drew Gulak, only on the face side for Ali, who could be a U.S. champion or an Intercontinental champion. They could actually make him WWE champion. If they built it, they could do it. If they're going to make Jinder Mahal the fucking WWE champion, guess what? You could build up Mustafa Ali over the course of like 6 months or even 9 months, and you could have him win the WWE title. Fuck. You could have him take the title off of Daniel Bryan in a few months. It could be believable. I could do that. I could book that. I'm not going to book that because I have too many shows as it is, but I could do that. But anyway, Mustafa Ali deserves much more than just being on 205 Live. And I'm not knocking. I hope the 205 Live brand continues to succeed. I'm quite frankly amazed it's still going. Not knocking the talents, just with the creative direction and the fact that people don't generally seem to be tuning in to it on the network, or at least when it's live. And that's kind of a shame, even though it's taped before SmackDown and shown a day later. But anyway, Ali is somebody, whether he takes Cruiserweight Gold at Survivor Series or a little bit later, or Intercontinental or U.S. Champion or even WWE Champion someday, this guy is a money performer. Now we move on to number 6, Andrade Cien Almas. This guy deserves a massive push. This guy should be WWE Champion next year. He is that good. It took a while for me to come around on him. Not that I didn't recognize his talent, but it took a while for me to come around on him. Once he turned heel and once he got Zelina Vega, I'm like, okay, starting to work. And then his sudden shock win against Drew McIntyre, which, by the way, I'm going to put Valena Tweets over. Shout out to Valena Tweets on Twitter. She actually said that, around this time last year, that Andrade Cien Almas is going to become NXT champion. So kudos to her. I know it's a year late, but kudos to you for calling that, because I don't know if a lot of people did. So great on you for doing that. And she's sung his praises for a good while. Andrade Cien Almas is a tremendous wrestler and should be used a shit ton better. And he's been used on SmackDown. Gonna give it a quick shout out to at Jeremy8911. He came up with a really, really good idea of Ray winning the U.S. title from Nakamura. Forgot who the U.S. champion was for a second. Sorry. And then Ray drops it to Almas at WrestleMania, and then Almas has like a few months run before he loses it, and then maybe. I mean, I don't know if this is the rest of your idea, but he goes and faces somebody at SummerSlam and wins the WWE title. It would be really good, and it would be really nice. Now, granted, maybe Wayne in Survivor Series would be better, but who knows? Andrade should be champion in 2019. Maybe a multi-champion, like a U.S. champion first and then a WWE champion. The guy is really, really damn good. And with Zelina by his side, she can cut the promos. Well, he cuts some of the promos because it's his second language. He's not great with the English yet. He can get better. Zelina is there for that reason. He can let his actions speak in the ring. Now we move on to number 5, Rusev. He won't get a push. He should get a push because it's Rusev Day. Every day is Rusev Day. Rusev deserves to be WWE Champion or switch to Raw and have him be Universal Champion or something. It's baffling that he has not held a title in so goddamn long, and he deserves to. He is a really, really top-tier performer. He's super over. He deserves it. He won't get it because creative is stupid. But Rusev deserves a chance to be champion. And I damn sure hope he gets it because he really does. He really does deserve it. Number 4, Sanity. Okay, I'm cheating a little bit by putting 3 guys in here. And I could throw Nikki Cross in on this, even though I said Nikki Cross deserves a push on the main roster, and hopefully she gets it. But Sanity should be tag team champions before too long. Who knows? They might be champions before the end of the year. I don't have any idea. But they are really, really good. They have not been used that well at all since being called up to the main roster. One could argue they were held down in NXT a little bit too long, but maybe it was just as well since they haven't really been used all that well, and they're just slotted into this kickoff match on the Survivor Series kickoff after not having really been used all that well the past number of months. It's actually rather goddamn baffling. Eric Young, Alexander Wolf, Killian Dane are really, really good trio, and they deserve a ton better than this. So hopefully they're tag team champions before too long. Number 3, Chad Gable. I just want Chad to get a push that it allows him to showcase his fucking in-ring ability. It's not that his teaming with Rude is bad. That's not it at all. He's so much better than that. I mean, Rude is so much better than that also. Rude at this point, I think, is just a guy to help out the younger guys. Even though Rude is still really performing well, and I think he's near 40, but he's still performing really well. Probably could wrestle until he's 50 if he wanted to. But Chad Gable is the future of... he could be the future of the company if they fucking use him right. He is so damn good. Put him on SmackDown again. Have him go on a tear and become U.S. champion. Have him have a match with Daniel Bryan for the WWE title. Something. I I just can't believe that they have this wealth of talent, especially in just somebody like Chad Gable, and they don't fucking see the potential with him. Chad Gable is absolute money. His promos, okay, they are what they are. You don't need to be a super great talker to be over in WWE. You need to be a decent talker. You don't need to be a super great talker. But Chad Gable could let his actions speak in the ring. People pop for him, but nope, Vince doesn't see it that way. Now we move on to number 2. Ladies and gentlemen, Elias. Elias should have been Intercontinental Champion earlier this year. Because the title means absolutely nothing now. And I'm not saying that Rollins and Ziggler didn't try to make it worth it, but after SummerSlam, it's basically been a fucking, just like expensive piece of jewelry. Elias should have been Intercontinental Champion. Hopefully Elias will get a shot at the Intercontinental title at some point. Or Universal Championship gold. I don't know. The guy should have been a champion at some point. And the fact that he hasn't been is rather fucking irritating. Now, yes, he has just recently turned babyface, so hopefully that leads to something. But he can still be the same, same guy that cuts down people, but he just cuts down heels now. As long as he can they allow him to maintain his humor and not go too super babyface, it should work out just fine. Elias should be champion next year. I don't care if it's Intercontinental. I don't care if it's Universal. I don't care if he's a tag team champion with a guy and they hold it for a number of months and they become an unlikely tag team or something, just anything. Justify the fact that this guy's a star. If you put him on SmackDown at some point, have him be a WWE champion. I mean, I say keep him on Raw because I think he's actually just fine there, but we'll see what happens. And now we go to number 1, Apollo Crews. People can call me a super fan of Apollo Crews all they want. I unfortunately sometimes forget that he's still employed with the company. Because as great as he is, they don't feel the need to use him. It's rather fucking baffling. And they just recently started using him again, and then he's already losing again. I mean, he did recently beat Jinder Mahal on an episode of Raw, which, okay, great. That's like being a dead slug at this point. Yeah, Jinder is a former WWE champion, US champion, but they don't make it. He's not a star anymore. Apollo is somebody that absolutely should be a champion, a singles champion, or make him a tag team champion with somebody. I don't know. I don't know who you team him with. I mean, not Titus. Please, dear God, keep Titus out of the goddamn ring. We don't need him in the ring anymore. But Apollo deserves to be champion. Now, yes, I mentioned that a lot of people should be champion on this list. Not everybody can be champion. But I would take a few of these happening as opposed to all of them. It's just some of these guys, more than others, deserve the chance to be champion. And that's all I really have to say about that. So yeah, this countdown's a little bit shorter than the others, but let me know some talents that you would love to see pushed in 2019. I mean, and this is mainly referring to the main roster. You could say NXT if you want. And I might do an NXT countdown at some point of NXT male talents that deserve a push. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys thought. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. It's been Real Honesty with Jar Mifflin, and I will see you soon.